I'm so excited that I get to do 2 videos in 1 week. It's kind of my goal, it's kind of my plan. But behind me, we get the Stang, and today we're gonna talk about the 3 mods that did not make it into the channel, and an update of all the other mods we have done to see if they have worked well, what we have changed, what we didn't change. So stay tuned and let's do it. The first mod that didn't make it into my channel, and that's the first mod we actually did, was the iBox lowering springs. Now, we sort of did record that video. I might say we didn't, we did. I'm just kidding, we did. But it was an absolute fail because unfortunately I had the right tools, and unfortunately I didn't have all the tools. So what happens is we actually did the whole work. We started recording it too. We took even one of the actual strut out. But it turns out that the factory strut, the bottom hat, I guess you want to call it, is a little bit too wide for what the tool that we use to compress the springs. So because of that, we kind of got stuck and we didn't know exactly what to do. So we decided just to go to Miami Autosport so they can go ahead and do it for us, because unfortunately we tried and we failed. So we didn't want to record that. We should have just posted it anyways, because I mean, it's the struggles that I'm pretty sure you and I and everybody else has gone through, but we should have recorded that. Alright, the second mod that we did not record was the RTR wheels. Now, I believe at the time my dad got the RTR wheels, I was going to Orlando for Disney. So I was kind of excited for that, and then my dad was sending me a lot of pictures. Look, we got this box here, and we have all these wheels and stuff like that. And I was like super excited. I mean, there's no way you actually got these wheels. And me and him were talking about it. It's kind of like shoes. We were kind of like looking at different pictures, looking at different Mustangs, watching different videos to see which wheels more or less we're gonna choose. And luckily we found these, and honestly, to be honest, right here, they look real nice. At least to us, they look beautiful, and I can't complain about them, and they've done good so far. So that was the second mod that didn't make it to the channel, and of course, Miami Autosport. Thank God for them. They're the ones that put the tire on the wheel, and they put the whole wheel onto the car, and there it is, and that's the final package right there. Alright, and the third mod, believe it or not, is actually in the engine bay, but it's nothing to do with the actual engine. It has to do with this right here. Yep, the hood struts. Now, the hood struts, we felt like we didn't want to make a whole video about it, because it was just, even though we should have, because it was actually a pretty difficult process, believe it or not, because you had to loosen these bolts. And what happens when you loosen these bolts, you lose the alignment of the hood towards the fender, towards the back here, and also towards the bumper. So that's a little bit of a mission, but we should have recorded the whole process. Little tips: this is the bracket. You just put a mark in here and a mark in here. Now, therefore, you don't lose the alignment once you put the hood struts, and you bolt everything back together. It's actually right exactly where it's supposed to be. So it gets aligned to the fender, to the bumper, to the other fender, and to the rear. We had a little struggle with that. Alright guys, those are the 3 mods that didn't make it to the channel, unfortunately. God bless them for not making it to the channel, but hey, we never know, maybe we'll get another car and show you guys. So the 3 mods that didn't make it, just to remind you, was the iBox lowering springs, the RTR wheels, and as well the hood struts. Alright, so on to the next update. So the next update I want to talk to you guys about is all the mods. Everything that worked and then didn't work towards the Mustang. Now, there's not really much a lot that didn't work on the Mustang modding wise, but there is one thing that we did change, so I'm pretty sure you guys saw in one of the videos, and I'm going to explain why we changed it, and did it work out, is it better, does it feel the same, or is it different? Let's get to it. so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna really start from the beginning, and we're gonna work our way back to everything we have done modding wise, exterior, and then we're gonna go interior, and then we're gonna go to the engine bay, because remember we did at that JLT oil separator. Almost forgot that name. Alrighty, let's talk about the chin spoiler. The RTR chin spoiler so far for us has done very well. Even with this height that I believe we have like an inch and a half drop on the front and the rear, so far the chin spoiler in the front has gotten barely any scrapes whatsoever. Obviously we are low and the chin spoiler is a little bit longer and a little bit lower as well, so you occasionally get some scrape if you have a massive incline and things like that. I mean, that's gonna be a given, but honestly our reaction to it has done good so far. Even if we ever do speed or in the rain or anything like that, so far we don't hear any noises. It's been holding on good. We follow the instructions to the T, so make sure that this chin spoiler does not go anywhere unless, you know, something hits it and it falls, but that's not gonna happen. Praying to God that doesn't happen, knock on wood. But besides that, so far this chin spoiler has done nothing but wonders for us, and it makes the Mustang for us just look super aggressive. So let's talk about the RTR wheels. So far the RTR wheels have done amazing. We have no complaints with them. They still look amazing, and one key thing is they are super easy to clean. You actually can go inside the wheel well, you can clean the face of the wheel, you can pretty much do everything to these wheels. As I move up closer, they're one of the best wheels that I've seen that we put on the Mustang so far, and they fit the vibe of the Mustang. I mean, RTR's particularly made these wheels for the Mustangs, the whole 9 yards, but honestly you can't go wrong with these wheels, and there's no complaints for either the front or the rears. Obviously the rears, you know, they with that little meat right there sticking out, but besides that, man, they are doing, I mean, fantastically well. The next thing obviously behind the face of the RTR wheel are the red calipers that we painted. So far the only thing that we had, I'm not gonna explain the issue right now, but before I do, so far the paint on both the front calipers I've been holding on super well because we put 2 coats of red in there. We felt that we didn't have to put a third one because obviously we had another caliper we had to paint it in the rear, and looks like it didn't bring too much, so we didn't want to like just gamble by putting more and more coats. You can go to 3. I recommend you can put 3. It should hold like 100 times better, but so far the paint has held very well. We haven't got any chips or anything. Now let's head to the rear. So unfortunately the rears, how can I say this, we only put 1 coat of the red paint that we decided to use, and because we're kind of like, it looks red for us, I don't think we have to put 2 coats and stuff like that. We're like, I don't think that's necessary. I highly recommend to do it because later on, as we're cleaning the Mustang and the whole 9 yards, not in this one but the other caliper, this paint actually chipped off. So obviously without us recording it, we actually repainted the rear calipers again, and we put 2 coats. Technically it has 3 because we put that 1 coat that one day when we did all 4, but unfortunately since they started chipping and the paint started coming off, we decided to do another 2 coats on it, and believe it or not, it actually looks even redder. So far they've been holding on really good, and I highly recommend to put at least 3 to 2 coats on both either the front calipers or the rear. This mod was the GT350 inspired spoiler right here. Same thing as the chin spoiler, no complaints. It's been holding on real good. That wouldn't hear any wiggle, wouldn't hear any noise, nothing. This is like, it felt like this came exactly from factory. I mean, it should be just a GT350 inspired spoiler, but honestly I have no complaints on it. It's been holding on, cleaning is a breeze, and it matches so good with the black package that we have on the Mustang. We have the black wheels, the black roof, all the badges are blacked out, and honestly we have zero, and I mean zero complaints with this, and it's holding on good. There's no chips or dents or nothing on it in packaging. Honestly, there's no complaints, and why wouldn't you want to have a little bit more of a lip? Of course, everybody's favorite, the exhaust. So remember, these are Ford Performance by Borla catback exhaust with the X pipe, no resonator or anything extreme. So let me tell you something, I think this is one of the best sounding exhausts for the Mustang that's not also Corsa. I'm not saying anything bad about Corsa, but everybody has a Corsa. But if you want to get a different sound, it kind of sounds different but somewhat the same as Corsa, I think these exhausts are your choice. With a 10-speed, since you don't have to really rev at it or anything, you just touch the pedal and it just goes. let me tell you, the exhaust seems like there's nothing there. You can still hear a little bit more of a rumble in the rear, but it's not something too loud. But when you ever decide, which is gonna happen, you ever decide to step on it, you wanna, you know, release all of its 460 horsepower or whatever, let me tell you, this exhaust gets extremely loud. Like, you can feel it. If you're from the outside, you can feel it in your chest, like how loud this thing gets. And so far, it's been hanging there good. There hasn't been rattling, hasn't been any noise. We have zero exhaust leak, which is something that is key, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are wondering, do you get any exhaust leak? Is it hanging kind of weird, or is it making a noise? So far, we have zero of anything, and I cannot complain how awesome these exhausts are. Obviously, I don't want to rev it because, believe it or not, this garage is full of people and cops. I don't want to disturb them, but so far, this exhaust has done wonders. Alright, let's check out the inside. Now, if you guys remember when I had that video, the Mustang gets lit, it's literally all these little LEDs that you put inside the car. If you guys remember, we also put it right here. And also the glove compartment in there, they all have LEDs. So, quick review of them. So far, the brightness is good enough for what we need it for. And as well, we had to have zero, and I repeat, zero any of these LED bulbs flickering or not working at all. We have zero complaints about them, and that's a simple and an easy mod you can do to go ahead and at least change the vibe of the inside of your car. Well, there's not a lot of light, but just to change the vibe of your car, put these little LEDs and you'll be good. The ones that we got from American Muscle. I don't know if you guys can see, but this right here, the JLT oil separator right here, can hardly see it, but there, believe it or not, we checked it later on. We didn't want to make a full video of it, but we did check that later on, and it actually did catch a couple of oil, which is kind of funny saying that it catch a little bit of oil, but legit, we took it out, we looked at it, and you see like a little bit of oil there. Obviously, we dumped it in the proper place we're supposed to put it. We have some oil jugs there, but it did catch a lot of oil in there, so at least we know that it is doing its job, and it's just not there for looks, or even for looks. You can't even barely see it, but it's so far, I'm to let you know, it does work and it is doing its job. The other thing is, in the inside, of course, is our short tower brace and short tower brace support in the rear. Now, so far, let me tell you something. Even though if you do coil install, which I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit, we have had no complaints about it. And obviously, we can't really tell how stiffer the Mustang is in the whole 9 yards, because we don't really track the Mustang. But if you guys do, let me know. Alright, and the final mod, which I'm so excited to talk about, is the BC Racing coilovers. Let me tell you something, these coilovers are day and night compared to the iBark lowering springs. Now here's why. Number one, the BC Racing coilovers come with adjustability for your dampening and your shocks. So what that allows you to do, you can make your car feel a little bit stiffer and feel a little bit softer depending on what your needs are. If you're not gonna go racing, you can go and make them soft. You could use them as soft when you're racing too. I don't know the science behind it too much, but you could use it for either or. So you can adjust that. Two, they don't make a lot of, the springs don't actually make noises when they compress, because this is the other reason why we took off the lowering springs. The number one reason we took it off, because the lowering springs were making a little bit of noises when you go over a bump, because the springs would just touch each other. We did put like a bump stop, like rubber things around the coil, and it actually did stop making noises. But then my dad thought, let's just go ahead and just bite the bullet. Let's just make that change, because what do we have to lose to actually put the BC Racing coilovers? Obviously, BC Racing coilovers are a little bit more expensive, or actually a lot more expensive than lowering springs, but at the same time you get a lot more benefits with it. So it's not like you're just switching one thing to the next and it's not really that much benefits, but they are. To the point that even the ride feels a lot smoother because you could adjust it. Now there's only one little thing I would have to say, you have to keep that in mind. I'm gonna show you right now inside the engine bay. Alright, so as you can see here, these 3 bolts right here are actually what's holding the top of the coilovers. So something that you keep in mind, if you want to add more camber, more positive, negative camber, you can not, I mean, you have them there, the screws, so go ahead and move this forward and back, but this is the issue, which you can see right here. You literally can't go in there because you have a metal bracket right here. Most people actually cut a little hole here or cut this off right here, so you go ahead and adjust them. But something that we decided to do is we don't actually, you know, want to keep them, you know, the engine bay looking nice. They recommended us to put the camber bolts in the bottom. Now in the bottom, I don't know if you can see there where the coilovers, the bottom has 2 bolts going in there. One of the bolts, I don't know which one, I can't tell you for sure, actually have the camber bolts on them, which allows this to go either to go positive or negative. So we put new front coilovers, they're not adjusted for our Mustang, so what happens is we did have a little bit of positive camber in the front, and the rear we did have a little bit more negative, or actually it was kind of the same. So once everything settled, we waited a week, we actually went back to Miami Auto Sport to readjust everything, and now everything is perfect. Because this, even from the video from them installing the coilovers on, you can kind of see that the fronts were up here was sticking out a little bit more from towards the bottom. So the top right here was going somewhat like this, and the rear was kind of like this. So we kind of got the rear more like straight, and we got this to be more straight. We didn't want to have that camber life, or I mean, we do have a little bit of camber in the rear. I mean, once you lower your car, there's only so much you can do, even the front as well. So overall, besides this little issue here, and just all you gotta do is put the camber bolts, everything else for the BC Racing coilovers have been marvelous, and it feels really amazing on the Mustang. I have 0 complaints on them. Obviously we will track and stuff like that, we'll say more how they feel compared to the iBox, but since we haven't raced it, so whatever. But overall, every mod that we have done on the Mustang has held well, besides the paint and the iBox lowering springs. But everything else honestly has done well to the Mustang. We have 0 complaints. We don't have any check engines, we don't have any code coming up or anything like that. Obviously we shouldn't have anything because we still have the stock air box in there, and all we did is just change the cat back, and that doesn't do absolutely nothing to your Mustang besides, you know, make it 100 times louder. But thank you guys for watching this video. I just wanted to just do a little quick update to you guys, so you guys see what has done well in the Mustang, what didn't make to the channel, and what was good for the Mustang. And honestly, I have 0 complaints about anything. I think any of these mods you guys can try it on your Mustang, or you can recommend it to somebody else's Mustang, because hey, I had experience with it right now, and so far it's been doing awesome. So I want to say, remember to follow me on Instagram to keep updated about everything we're doing for this Jay's Finest. And as well, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys for watching, take your time to watch this video. And if you made it at the end, thanks so much. You're the true MVP. So let's end it right now. Peace.